When it comes to the quantitative research tools, we can talk of observational research. Here, basically, researchers watch or observe the relationship between consumers and products in relation to product usage. Here again, researchers may rely on the use of technology in observing the relationship between consumers and their brands. And depending on what the research objectives, it may be used to gain very useful information which can be taken for strategic decision making. Specifically, consumers are watched during the process of buying and using products. This is informed by the fact that marketers have realized that one of the best ways to gain an in-depth understanding of the relationship between people and products is by watching, viewing, monitoring customers during the process of buying and or use of product or services. So counters and other mechanical devices can be used to record all these relationships. Observational research may also allow for the use of what we call physiological observation. Sometimes marketers may be interested in the reaction of consumers, the various senses to various marketing stimuli. This may be useful in ad creation and development and in other areas of marketing communication. So marketers may use certain devices, attach certain devices to potential consumers to see how they will respond, or there are various, it could be the eye, it could be used to test sound, it could be used to test how the nerves will react to when they are exposed to certain pictures, sounds, and so on and so forth. So observational research can be very useful depending on what the marketer wants to use it for. We can also talk of experimentation or causal research. This one, the idea is that there's what we call the multiple attributes. There are several attributes that influence consumer decisions and all that. So in experimentation or causal research, the basic thing the marketer or the researcher does is to test the relative importance of various attributes that are of importance to the marketer. So we are saying that it's possible to test the relative sales appeals of many types of variables such as package designs, prices, promotional offers, copy. When I say copy, I'm referring to advertising copy. We can use causal research or experimentation to test the relative importance of all these attributes. In such experiments, which is also referred to as causal research, only one variable is manipulated at a time. And we call that one the independent variable. Although other elements are kept constant. Because we want to test the relative importance of various variables, we keep all other variables constant as we control for the other factors. So a controlled experiment of this type ensures that any differences in outcome, that is the dependent variable, is due to different treatments of the variable under study and not to extraneous factors. There could be other factors that may be responsible for certain variations or differences. But here we hold certain factors constant to be able to gauge their relative usefulness or importance. Experimentations, apart from a typical marketplace, can also be conducted in laboratories. where we use special instruments or instrumentation such as eye cameras that study the eye movement of customers or consumers as they use or view different products or advertisements. A major application of experimentation or causal research is test marketing, in which prior to launching a new product, elements such as package, price, and promotion are manipulated in a controlled setting in order to predict sales or gauge the possible responses to the product. The last one I want to talk about under quantitative research tool is through the use of questionnaire or survey. I believe most of you are familiar with questionnaires, so I won't spend much time on this. But there are various modes that we can use to administer questionnaires. We may want to use field research. We may administer it using the mail. We may mail it to respondents. We may do it via telephone. It could be person to person and all that. But in taking this decision, there are key issues that need to inform this decision. We need to compare the advantages and disadvantages of these four modes of questionnaire administration. That's field research, mail, telephone, online, and so on. These are all ways by which we can collect data. But comparing the relative advantages, we need to look at this in terms of the cost. How much will it cost to use online, to do field work, and so on? Because one may be limited by resources. We also need to be concerned about the speed. How urgent do we need this information? And then what type of response rate are we looking for? Because the various modes may be associated with different response rates. Some modes of data collection may be more useful in terms of response rate than others. We should also be interested in another consideration is the geographical flexibility that we require. There's also the issue of interviewer bias. To what extent do we want to avoid or reduce interviewer bias and so on and so forth? Because when you are doing face-to-face, other things may come in and so on and so forth. We should also be interested in the control in terms of interviewer supervision. We want a situation where the interviewer has control over the entire research process. These are all useful questions that relates to quality of supervision and so on. In using survey, we may use the open-ended questions, we may use closed-ended questions and all that. I've explained this earlier on. In designing research, there are certain processes that one has to consider. Again, I won't give you the details in terms of the process because you'll be doing this in level 400 under consumer, under marketing research. So I will just enumerate the various steps, the logical steps. Basically, there are 6 major steps that marketers go through in the consumer research process. These steps are listed systematically. We are listing the steps systematically. Step 1 is to define the objectives of the research from the onset. When we define the objectives of the research, it will give us a guide. It will help focus our energies and resources. And then, of course, it will serve as basis for evaluating the entire research process when we are done. It will provide a good direction, among other considerations. The second logical step after listing or enumerating your research objectives is to collect and evaluate secondary data. Secondary data simply refers to data that is already has been collected for other purposes. But it's only prudent that what is the essence of doing research when there's the information, the data that we are looking for is already sitting somewhere. So it's important that we comb through the archives, we look around and see if we can get information relating to our study objectives. Of course, if we are fortunate to have secondary data that is useful, the research may come to an end at that point because it's information we're looking for. But where that is not the case, or where even secondary data is useful but does not provide us with all the things we're looking for, we may go ahead to design a primary research. And this may come in the form of qualitative or quantitative study, or combining both, like I mentioned earlier on. Here, as to whether to use projective techniques, in-depth interview, experimentation, focus group, Causal research, or survey, or use of questionnaire, this is where we make that decision. That's designing a primary research study. And of course, we go ahead to collect primary data. And then step 5, we analyze. Based on the type of study, we analyze accordingly. And we prepare reports that will help us address our research objectives. I expect students to read details of this process on their own. Thank you very much.